It's kicking in. It's loading. Here we go. We are now live on Monday night, public holiday. Welcome to the BigFooty Tigercast, everybody. Thanks for joining us. As you can see, there are only 3 cameras on tonight. JC is out at a family do, so he'll be back with us next week. But so he's stuck with the 3 of us. But no,
we need to review the contract again there, mate, because I don't know, family priorities over the show. I think we need to think long and hard about this bloke. He's changed.
Yeah, he's changed. No, it's all right. We can't always all be on, but you can see there's one person missing from shot. I want to see if he explains why he's not here when he gets back. We won't throw him under the bus just yet. But how are you, CB? How's the long weekend for you?
Very good. I'm wearing the Traralgon colours tonight. So obviously we had a little bit of rain fall over the last few days, and we were lucky. Like, personally, was okay. We weren't affected. We're at the right end of town, I guess, but hell of a lot of people affected. And in general, anyone who was affected by the wild weather from last week, thoughts are with you, and hope you're doing okay. So It was a pretty tough few days for a lot of people.
It's a very good call, and I mean there was just some absolutely devastating pictures going across the news. So our hearts go out to everyone who was affected, but just know that there is a community behind you rallying, and obviously we'll all do whatever we can to help get everyone back on their feet. But yeah, it wasn't nice,
mate. No shit. I was on a Zoom call, so I was on a Microsoft Teams meeting, right? Ugh. And I sort of explained. I said, look, we've had a lot of rain overnight, and there's a lot of stuff going on in town. And it's one of those ones where people go, "Oh, yeah," they think you're full of shit, right? And then they sort of humour you and go, "Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's bad." By that night, mate, once they saw the news, the phone was ringing off the hook. Everyone's going, "Oh, my God, are you okay?" We're like, "Yeah, I told you it was pretty decent." But
it's been crazy.
How are we, lads?
Good, yourself?
Yeah, well, see, chat, how they just ignore me. I'm like the invisible person.
Well, we left it open-ended as to why you weren't sitting in front of your camera when we went live. So if you want to explain why you can, or you can just make up something different.
Look, with the audience, I'm always honest, right? But first, I've got to say, CB, you're looking absolutely amazing today, mate. I think with the rains that you've had your yearly shower, and it's fantastic to see, mate. You're absolutely glowing.
It was a bath, not a shower. It was a bath.
Wonderful. No, what it is, my wife's a beautiful cook. I'm very blessed, right? And to the ladies, I cook as well, so it's not just her role. But she's a great cook, right? I really, really lucked out. But she's got this beautiful dish she does. It's chicken with cream and pepper, herbs, spices, and like a cheese. It's fucking amazing, right? It's one of my favourite dishes. But anyway, it didn't start till probably 2 years. I think I'm becoming lactose intolerant because after I eat it, I've got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, no.
And, I don't know why. Never before, but now that maybe the cream, the sauce, it's getting to me. But, I hope everyone's well. Bobby, good to see you, mate. How are you, brother?
It's good to see all the people in the chat saying g'day. We love you all. Thanks for your participation. Good to see the Richmond journey getting stuck into CB straight off the bat. And yes,
is Lee on? Is Lee on? I just want to pass a message to him, mate. Ignore the that Port Adelaide troll, mate. He wouldn't want to come down to Melbourne. That's all I can say.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I don't think Lee is on tonight. I think she's going to watch it another time. But yeah, good to see Tisha's had a shave. I'm not sure you have, CB. I definitely haven't. It's getting a little bit long, but
I've been receiving a lot of popular feedback. sexy Captain Blood and things like that. And I've got to lower the bar a bit for you blokes to compete. So I'll just let it go for a bit longer, hey.
No,
see, I was getting the COVID beard going, right? That's why I was growing it out. And the thing is, I look like an Afghan terrorist, right? I don't mean that in a racial manner. It's just I can't grow a full, I can't do something like Lush as CB or yourself. You look like a caveman there, Michaels. But myself, it gets all patched up here. Goatee wise, no problem, but it's grey. You know what I mean? And,
the silver
it's all grey. Yeah, but CB can rock it. He can rock it. I can't.
Okay.
This is my every winter. I grow a bit of facial covering because it gets very cold on the sides too. So every little bit helps, mate. When I've got not much on top, I need a bit more down bottom. So.
If we're talking about winter covering, mate, if we're going to do a pubic hair conversation, mate, I'd win this one. Trust me.
No, I haven't shaved the beard since about December, but. Oh, well.
But anyway, the game, guys? What are your thoughts and opinions?
Rightio. Well, shall we
it's
get
almost
into
a
it?
bit fresh, isn't it? It's a bit fresh coming off that. Before we do, everyone who's watching, please make sure. Sorry, before we go, how's this, CB? People just blowing smoke up your ass. CB, the heartbreak kid. My God, come on.
You know it.
Before we get stuck
it.
into it, everyone watching, please make sure you do like, share, tag your Richmond friends. We want to try and get as many live viewers in as possible. We're sitting at 89 currently. Let's try and hit that 140, 150 mark. So, yeah, share and tag away, folks. It's going to be a fun show. Even though we did lose, there's plenty still to talk about. So, CB?
I'm like the Brett Sutton of the group who sent all those dirty 50-year-old housewives into a frenzy. I'm like him. That's what I'm like with the group.
Yes. Look, guys, a favour for me personally, if you can also subscribe to, I hate watching YouTube channels and they say, can you please like and subscribe? Really important, particularly YouTube, if you can put a bit of a focus on it, mate. If you've got 2 seconds, Alt tab out, go onto our YouTube channel, just hit subscribe. It helps. Look, we don't get paid for this, but it helps Michael with the Big Footy administration. And I said that cleanly. I didn't say anything rude, Michael, so you should be proud of me for that.
No, it's very good.
Yeah, so no, it supports Sam and it allows us to keep the show going.
No, thank you. Much appreciated.
Tiggs isn't aware that Michael's you and I take all the money, but that's okay. We'll talk that off air, right?
I see. Unlike you mercenary pricks, you're like the Essendon of the show. I don't do things for money, mate. I'm a Tiger. I do it for the love. For the love. But right, yeah, the game. Look, that's why I got my name. I can't hit a target. Like, I was watching it, and Camden McIntosh, I fucking love him. I love him, right? Running at 42% in an AFL game, disposal efficiency for most parts of it. It broke my heart. It made me start to weep. My wife's looking at me, my kids are looking at me and going, how come you crying, Dad? And I'm just going, I rewatched that game today. We should have been, I shit you not, and I was being conservative here too, right? And it wasn't like factoring 90% of our points should have been goals. We should have been 7 goals up before the fourth quarter even started. That's how dominant we were. But it was just a woeful display. And it wasn't just Camden. It's just he was forefront of my mind because a lot of his play was through the wing and off he would turn it over. But, you know, Shea Bolton, you know, Martin, players like Edwards, players that normally when they've got the ball in hand, they're like Jesus, you know, you can always trust it, you know, and they were just turning it over, willy-nilly, spraying the ball. It was just a heartbreak.
I don't want to hear people blame umpires for us losing that game. They had nothing to do with it. We had that game, and I think at the end of the day, I think a lot of fatigue. The guys have been out away from home for a month, and I think they were pretty cooked by the end of the game, and I think it showed a little bit. I think there was some – we talk about – disposal and things like that, but I think that factored into it. I think because they were fatigued, their concentration wasn't quite where it would normally be, and we saw people like when Nick Vlosten misses a target like he did, mate. You know, and I'm not being critical of Nick. I'm just saying, you know, there's something going on because he is as reliable as anyone in our team in disposal wise. So that's kind of how. Michaels, what do you think?
Yeah, that was a killer, wasn't it? That kick. He had 2 targets to hit and he missed it. And the other ones as well, and we'll get to it when we do our learnt, liked, and disliked. But the Castagna 45-meter left foot snap shot on goal in a pack when he had re-rolled about 25 out. I know it's all very instantaneous and probably hard to spot that option, but I just feel like the Richmond of the last couple of years may have hit that target, and then even Dusty sort of. That last kick, I know he's probably having a shot, and Bolton was probably blocked a little bit, but I just felt we rushed our kicks going forward when we were trying to attack in the last and didn't lower the eyes. But, yeah, it was frustrating. I agree with you, Tiggs. We should have been up by a lot more, as was our dominance early on. There was a stage where we were up by about 22, and I sent a message to my friends saying, we need that next goal and get it to 28 and it could be kind of all over. And we had to hit him on the counter attack and we just stuffed a 3-on-1 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And like that was the moment we could have broken him. And we just kept him in it long enough. And look, they're a good side West Coast over there. And people, you know, a lot of people are sending through that was travel a factor. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But we had it. We had the chance to put him away and we just didn't. And you can't let good teams. Yeah.
And keep in mind, Tiggs can't hit a target 71. West Coast hit everything. They
everything.
Couldn't miss.
They could not miss. They could kick it out. It wasn't just goals. It was, under pressure, just kick the ball with your eyes closed and fucking hit someone on the tit. It was that type of game. That's why reading the Twitter feedback, people going, we're not like we were. The team, I got sort of scolded saying it wasn't our night. The reason why I meant it didn't look like it was our night because we're doing things that we don't normally do, and it wasn't based on the opposed pressure. It was just based on all us. So all the turnovers, the missing hitting targets on the lead, things that we don't normally do, missing the handball. But with the umpires, I've got to say, after seeing it a second time, they didn't cost us a game, no, and I'm pretty clear of that. But there is a West Coast noise of affirmation because it was clear. There was clear intent to ping us when we threw the ball. So they'll right on. They umpired Richmond perfectly in the sense that when we threw the ball or we did an illegal disposal, they'll right on it, right? But then you had like that Shepherd kick guy throwing it one-handed in the back line, not being pinged. That dangerous tackle, which was not a dangerous tackle, I'm sorry. It wasn't. And it was 6 points. And in effect, you could draw the long string and say, well, we lost by 4, so that's the game. It's not because there was so much play after it. But they, look, I want to talk a bit about them all, like the dislikes, but I really want to focus on how proud I was of the team. You could tell that they had the bye on their mind, right? A lot of these players have got families, have got a mature list. So they've got kids at home, wives at home that they haven't seen, young kids. They've travelled, 3,000 kilometres in 3 weeks. We've won 2 out of 3. So that's a plus. In that, we've played informed teams and put them away. We're still, people going back, well, West Coast was injured. Well, no, they didn't have their best forward out. They didn't have their best ruck out. And they didn't have a pillar in the back line out. And they didn't have their best midfielder out, all at the same time. So structurally, we're always going, people were making light of our injuries, but we're going in there thing. And I have to say, 2 biggest things for me was Chol. If anyone questions this kid's ruck work, that he could become our premier ruckman, hopefully these 2 weeks has dispelled that. He showed his tank's issue, and Hardwick acknowledged that. That's his only issue at the moment, his tank, and obviously learning the game a bit more. And I have to say, our defenders, I was upset we lost, but I was so happy knowing our defenders are there now. They're getting there. The amount of balls that they, defended on the line, goals that they saved, how they shared the ball around each other, and how they launched attack after attack after attack was the Richmond of last year and the years before. They finally got to that level. This was the first game that I actually saw Essendon parts of it, but this is the game yet we're back. That back 6 is right on. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to after the bye. And the last thing is Bolter. Keep your head up, son. He learnt from Kennedy. Kennedy schooled him. Let's just be honest. He absolutely schooled him. But, for every time he got done, do you reckon the next time Kennedy's going to play him, he's going to school him as bad? No. He'll get better for it. So there's a lot of positives. I went around, just basically to that point. There was a lot of positives in that game.
Michaels, you agree?
I agree. I felt bad for Bolter. Yeah, he did. He got schooled big time. But at the end of the day, we weren't just tight enough on him in the midfield in that last quarter. So when you get easy delivery, someone like Kennedy's going to carve you up, and he's a gun player. But we'll go through what we learnt, liked, and disliked. So all the viewers out there, send through what you liked, disliked, and learnt as well. I don't know if I've taken both of your ones for the likes, but I liked Kane Lambert's return. I thought he was and sorry, fellas. He was sensational. He just highlighted how much we miss his work rate and his two-way running, and the fact he got on the end of a few goals was really, really nice to see. I learnt that our best is still very good, but we just keep having those lapses that we can't afford to keep having. And someone mentioned in the comments that, are we still a top 4 side? Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. End of the day, we're still only 1 game from the top 4. So let's, see how that pans out at the end of the year. But what I disliked was the last 10 minutes. I know that sounds Captain Obvious, but I really want to know if CCJ was still on the ground. And this isn't a pot shot at CCJ directly, because it could have been a coaching thing. But the amount of forward thrust we had, and we kicked it to Jack Rewald, who had 3 on him, and Barras took about 4 marks and killed any momentum we had trying to go forward. I just wanted to know, where was our second tall to help make that a 2-on-1 for us, or at worst a 2v3 for us, whereas Jack was just getting pinned down by Hearn. Barras takes the mark, and that ends the forward thrust. And that was a big killer for us in that last quarter. So I really disliked our structure and setup on that front.
You pretty much stole my notes. So my like again was Kane Lambert. We're just reminded again of what he brings to the team in leadership, two-way running. So I won't dwell too much on that because everyone's going to say the same thing. What I learnt was the long road to the finals shouldn't daunt us. We should have won versus Port, and now we should have won versus the Eagles. So we've lost 2 games on the road by a combined total of 6 points. So it's not as bad as you think. So the season is far from over as far as where we're at. Disliked again, Mox. I dislike the fade out, but the boys were cooked. I'm frustrated by it, but I'm not angry at all because they gave their all. You can't say they threw their hands up in the air. They played to the final siren. Unfortunately, it just didn't go our way this time again. Tiggy?
Yeah, I'm just fixing. I just got my notes done up right. Yeah, so basically for me, what I learned was that Hardwick showed his cards what we're going to do in finals and going after the ball, I reckon, in relation to game plan. It's the first time I've seen any club do this. So it really impressed me, surprised me, and excited me all at once. It was like seeing your dick pics for the first time, CB. It was just all those emotions in one hit.
You need a bloody microscope for that, for the record,
yeah,
mate.
you do. But, still the impact was there. But what was really impressing me is we've got 2 game plans all in the one quarter. And he did that multiple times. We'll do a tempo game plan, which is the kicking West Coast Eagles like. And you can see why he's trialling that, because that's the only way we're going to play the 3 calls, right? And that goes part to outlining where was CCCJ, Michaels, is because he hasn't got the tank of Lynch. And it showed, but he was trying to lead up really, really high, but couldn't get back in enough time to be that marking target. But then what they'll do is they'll get the defenders of the opposition comfortable in how we're going to move the ball. So they'll set up. Okay, we're going to go try to switch. We're going to go hit up a lead, and then all of a sudden we go bang, and we hit, and that's what opened that 4-goal burst. It's particularly notable in the last quarter. We just hit I think it was 12-minute mark, and it just triggered it, and then we just went bang, 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 bang. And then the Richmond right, and threw West Coast off for about 8 minutes. It's just we didn't switch back to it. And people saying, and Dennis Cometti, he copped a bit on Twitter, actually highlighted it. He said we played arrogant in the sense that we didn't want to save the game. We still wanted to win it to let West Coast know we won it. And that is what we did. And I was wrapped with that because that sort of intention is what's going to win your finals. You don't park the bus. Shit teams do that. We don't. So, and it was good. It was a lot of ingenuity in that. And obviously the new rules are playing a part in that. So I love our coaches. We're going to be great. So that's what I learned. What I liked was probably 2 things. I really liked Lambo. Lambo showed how important he is to the team. His off-the-ball work, his ability to inject himself in the midfield, his ability to inject himself from the half forward to the midfield and back again, and his overall work rate. And he had showed this aggression, like, I don't give a shit, I'm going for a ping for the goals. He just blew up at the end. But he'll get game fitness into him and, he'll get better for the run. So that was really pleasing to see. And the other part I mentioned Chol, but I can CCJ, he as one of the guys said, CCJ's proved me wrong. I've never doubted his ability as a forward. I've never once said he's not an agile forward, he's a Lynch forward. I'm on record of saying that, but he's not a ruckman's arsehole, right? He's not. And I'll stand by that. And I think the way he plays proves that. But neither is Lynch, right? So it's not necessarily a bad thing. But he is starting to lead in the right spots, and he did a couple of good contested marks that before he would drop. So, which is great. So I hope he continues going in that graph. Hopefully it's with us. It might be another club, but that's for another show. And what I disliked was our midfield in the last. We got absolutely smashed. I don't know. I think Cochin's half cooked, or maybe Cochin was just thinking about Dubai and Cohen and Brook. I don't want to put it all on our captain, but he stepped up in the third. He changed how we played in that art, and he really led from the front. But I hate to say it, but on the TV you can't see it. Or I'd love someone that was at the game on the comments just to put a little blurb of what they saw of Cochin if they were watching him, but he was unsighted in the fourth. I don't know if he was off the bench heaps. He was just unsighted, and when they really got their run going, he normally will do something, and I couldn't see him. No patience as a player.
He's second game back, mate.
I know that, but at the end of the day, and his fitness is improving as well. So I'll give him a lot of excuses there. He'll get better as he gets fit. So that probably just reaffirms that people writing us off now, or even our own supporters thinking we're not the same as last year or the year before. We've got players here that have just come back from injury, but they're still going to get match fit, and they're not there yet. So yeah, that's my learnt and disliked.
Yeah, there was a bit to dissect from that game, wasn't there? It was incredibly frustrating, and especially like our efficiency inside 50 was at 57%, so we're still going okay on that front. We just missed those easy chances, didn't we? I think Bolton kicked 2 out in the full. Rewalt missed an easy one. I didn't watch Dimmer's presser, but I think he kind of acknowledged that at least it was things that he felt that we could fix, which is all good and well, but we need to make sure we get on top of it after the bye. So with that said, we'll push on to the bloodbath, CB.
Right, yeah. So the title of this one is probably going to throw a few people off, but it's not aimed at a specific group. The people who know, they'll know what I'm talking about. So I call this one the Tigers of Old. So Richmond supporters, we're eternally rooted to the past. And by the past, I mean we flip out and lose our shit at the slightest bit of adversity, regardless of previous success. In the last week, I've read Lynch should drop $500K off his contract. Trent needs to be moved on, and we're no good. I reckon some people out there need to get away from their keyboard for a bit, if that's what you're thinking. Because we're already witnessing a transition before our eyes of old and new. And no one's really picked up on it media-wise. The old guard of Jack, Trent, Basher, Dave and Cheddar, they'll be most likely gone by 2022. Some might be gone by this season's end. We're already now seeing CCJ, RCD, Ross, Naish, Chol, Mansell, Hugo, even still Bolter, come through the ranks and get valuable game time. Bolton, Graham, Baker, Short, George, Nank, Rioli, Arts, Broad, etc. have all got years left in them. So just do yourself a favour and look at the age profile of the list and what has years left to play for our great club. So while I do believe this is the last shot for a couple of blokes for that elusive fourth flag, behind the scenes, we're already paving the way for the future We are already paving the way for future sustained success. And we've got a very strong draft hand coming up as well. So rather than carry on like an online idiot, how about you appreciate what you have for the now, regardless of the results? Because once these guys finish up, they're not going to be back. Never in our wildest dreams did we ever think we would see a Richmond team achieve what it has in the last 4 years. So just don't be that online flog. Just be happy because it could be far, far, far worse. There you go.
Hold on.
Yeah, fair enough. Well said. And there's a lot of support for you in the chat there, CB. It's very good. Tiggs, before you do yours, just for viewers wanting to ask questions, we're going to take listener questions after Tiggs's den. So make sure you start thinking of what you want to ask us, and we'll fire a few of those off as well. So, Tiggs, what den have you got for us tonight?
Yeah, mine was inspired. Sorry, I moved the camera here because for some reason, if it's the other side, it makes my lips look blue, like I've got fucking some blood circulation issue. I don't know if it's lighting. I got that feedback from our kind guys on our board, so thanks for that. Look, my Tiger Den actually is inspired from one of my good mates, Octavio. I love Octavio. He's a Tiger through and through. He's the type of Tiger mate, though, that, when you have a loss, regardless of what time of the year it is, what position you're on, it's over. That's it. We're done. Because he's like my age, high 40s. He's lived through all the shit. And even now we're winning flags and making finals, and he still thinks it's all an illusion, a little part of him. And that little demon comes up. So I thought, well, how do I get Ockie? How do I lift his spirits? And people have written us off, right? They all think, yeah, we're not the Tigers of the same. And if there's any club that from round 14 can win the next 9 games in the row, it's the Richmond Football Club. And I've got proof to back this up. In 2017, after the bye, guess what? We won 9. In 2000, I won't put 2018 in 2018 because we won everything, right? It's just stupid. We only lost 2 games for the year. 2019, guess what, people? We won 9 straight after the bye. And people are going to say, oh, yeah, but that was 2019. We had injuries, and I think we were outside the 8 by round 14 when it happened with the shocking percentage. Well, 2 games outside the 8. And then in 2020, it's a shortened season. But we basically won. We only dropped 2 games since after the bye. We won 6 straight, not including finals. So the thing is, and in 2016, Bendel, not 2015, we had 9 elimination finals in a row. Do you remember that? Where we got done by, where we end up, the last game was against Sydney.
2015 was the elimination final versus North, wasn't it? And that's where we got ripped by that freaking umpire when Edwards caught Cunnington and they took it down and killed us.
Oh, don't tell me that. I'll punch the computer. So what it is, and now here we sit, right? And I had a look at the draw. One of the guys on Twitter let me know and goes, hey, we're not going to make top 4 because the top 4 that are in there at the moment have really easy draws, right? And we won't be able to max up the game. Well, here's a couple of positives. We play 2 of the top 4 in our little run. Round 18. I don't care if we don't fucking win any game, but that's the game we've got to win, right? But round 18, we played Brisbane and we played Geelong on the way through too, right? You've got Melbourne who's just coughed up against Collingwood. Some of those, and you've got the other top 4, they're all playing against each other twice, if you look at the draw. So we've got an opportunity. If we win 9 in a row, it's going to put us on, someone do quick maths for me. If we win 9, what are we on now? 7 and 6? We'll be on 16 wins.
16 and
that'll
7.
put you on the 4. That'll put you in the top 4. That will put you on the top 4. Everyone's just looking and thinking the top 4 at the moment are going to win every single game that they're going to play. They can't because they're going to be playing each other as well. So, look, I'm bullish. I reckon, and then I worked it out, and Jimmy was right. We can win it from outside the 4. If we finish 5th, that's what I'm hoping for. I'd love to get top 4, but if we can finish 5th, get the home final, right, beat that, I reckon we can win. We easily could beat any of the team in the 8. So, look, we're not out of it by a long shot, but like CB said, we're regenerating as we're building. We've got exciting things happening in the immediate short-term future to fix up some of our glaring deficiencies, which I'm excited to share on Thursday. So we're right. We're right.
It's funny, Tiggs. I really wanted that asterisk flag last year, just for the fact that asterisk flag, blah, 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 right? But reality is that's the hardest flag that's ever been achieved in the history of the game, right?
Yeah.
And now I really want to win this from like the Dogs. I want to win this from 7th or 6th, something insane, and just clip everybody on the way home. Away finals, just do the lot, and we will end football. If we win it from 6th or 7th, we will officially kill the game for a lot of people. And I really want that to happen.
That's harsh, Paul. That's harsh, mate. That's harsh. You hurt me, son.
Hey, it's interesting. I just want to say this as well, as a general footy chat. Collingwood has screwed a lot of shit up the last 8 months, it's fair to say, or we'll say 16 months. The handling of Nathan Buckley's exit has been first rate. And Nathan Buckley, I've always liked him. He's gone up a notch in my for the way he's exited the coaching caper. I think he's done an outstanding job and very dignified exit from Buckley, I reckon.
Funny that if I was Buckley, I'd be looking at the players in the eyes. If I was a player for Buckley, and I'm wrapped that they won for him, but there's no way I could look him in the eye because there's no excuse. You could bring that performance to honour him to leave, but you couldn't bring that to performance every week to keep him in the job.
I said the same thing when I was watching it. Yeah.
Yeah. Looking at him going, you pretenders. You absolute fucking pretenders. That would shit me to tears if I was Buckley.
Historically, Richmond was always the team used to cop that shit. The coach would get sacked, and we'd always be the following game. So it's good to see someone else cop it.
All right, listeners, start getting your questions ready to send through. No, good den there, Tiggs. There has been a lot of comments come through saying, we're not the same team that we were. We're probably going to struggle to make top 4. And we may do struggle to make top 4, but the next 3 games are completely vital. I think it's St Kilda, Gold Coast, and Collingwood. So we have to win those first 3 back after the bye to give ourselves some momentum, any kind of chance to be a part of the finals. So at least we're still, 1 game in percentage off 4th, but we're also a game ahead of, I think, Freo, who are 9th. So we're still in the mix. And if we're participating in finals from any spot, I think, and we're getting our game up and running and our players back, I think there will be a few teams looking over their shoulder. So I do take the point that it's not looking as good as it has in previous years, but I also wouldn't discount us just yet as well. All right, first question. I'll give this one to you, CB, from Sam. Hypothetical. We can only hold one of the 2, Chol or CCJ. Who are you going to let go and who do we hold?
Sammy Perrin, Mr. IDGAF from Big Footy. We want you back, brother. We need some old school. We need some old school back on the board. I can't do it on my own anymore, mate. I need help. For me personally, I'm actually keeping CCJ because Jack's got 1 year left in him and CCJ is the future. So as a forward, CCJ is ahead of Chol. Chol is probably ahead of CCJ in a ruck, but we're going to need a key forward more than we're going to need a ruck moving forward, just purely because of Nank, Soldo, who's the big unit? We got Samson Ryan. So we've sort of got ruckman. We need that forward space covered. So unfortunately for Charlie, he's the one that's expendable in my eyes. And that's just how I see it.
Okay, to tack on to that, Tiggs, could Chol play on a wing?
He hasn't got the tank for it. That's just a realistic response. But can he in future? Yeah, no doubt. If he gets an AFL tank, which surprises me because he's an athlete. He looks like an athlete. But he doesn't have a tank of one. It's all going to come down, can he build this tank?
CB, one back for you from Lee. Where is George at? Yes, he works hard, but no tackles and has been making some stupid decisions.
You know what? Like, we actually had feedback. A couple of our viewers didn't want this to be a George bashing session, so I won't bash him. All I'll say is if I was in team selection right now, I would probably play a couple of others ahead of playing George. But as we know, Richmond's a system-based team. He keeps getting a game, so clearly he's ticking some boxes for the coaching staff to keep selecting him. But me personally, for his form at the moment, he needs to go back to the resis and kick some ass, get some form back, and then come back in. But that's just how I see it.
I know this topic's come up before. Tiggs, Basher the Warrior is nearing the end. Is this his last year?
Based on, look, he's done some really good things. He did some really good things during that game as well. But Father Time catches everyone. If he's the type of guy that will be happy to play reduced games and mentor the young kids, maybe via the VFL or as, when he's not playing in the seniors, he's being like a mini coach during training and stuff and just not playing, then, I could see him go probably another year because we do rate him as a person. He's a culture driver. He's one of the things I've heard, he's one of those players that the younger guys, he will go out of his way to look after, particularly when they first join the club, even 2-3 years in. He's like, I don't want to use the word, but it's the only thing I can sort of describe it. He's like the priest of the club, that father figure that people go to. And, so that's really important. And the club, I do know, recognises that. So he might, But I can't see him playing 22 games next year or in the future. I think this would be his last big hurrah. Maybe one more year.
Fair enough. CB, the $1 million question. Any way of playing Nank, Chol, Jack, Lynch and CCJ in the one side once all fully fit?
No. Richmond, and we've discussed it before, Richmond's best system is when we play 2 rucks, 2 key forwards, 2 key backs. So, unfortunately, one of those has to go. And for mine, I think Chol has to go. I would move Jack to a half-forward flank and let Jack get up the ground and use his creative smarts because he's one of the best kicks in the team still. So, I would play Lynch and CCJ as your 2 key forwards. Jack, half-forward, playing high. And then you've got Nank rucking, and then you can rotate CCJ through the ruck to give him a chop out. So just how it seems, which leaves our defensive post when Dave Ashbury comes back in. It leaves our two key defensive posts sorted as well with Dave and Bolter. And then Brody and Grimes and everybody else can work around that system, is how I see it.
Great answer. My feedback, if I can just pop on with that one too, is Nank, Child, Jack and Lynch are all different from each other. CCJ and Lynch play exactly the same way, right? Lynch just does it better. So I'm a bit different from CCD. For me, CCJ1 is the one that will go out, and Nank, Child, Jack and Lynch are the ones that will stay.
While we're on that sort of topic, Tiggs, who drops out for Lynch, Prestia, Asprey and Nank when they come back in?
Yeah, great question. Look, even if because what I've just said, I will persist with the experiment of having Lynch and CCJ working side by side and playing Jack high up the ground. They're both lead out forwards, but so is Kennedy and Darling, right? So we could basically stumble onto something here if we can have them, as long as they don't hit in each other's lane. It could be a really powerful combination, because one thing both boys will do is bring the ball to ground, and then our small should be able to feed off that, right? So we'll be able to get a blend of improving the old game plan, but, trying something new if we do decide to go the chip kick. So I'd keep CCJ in. Caddy, I think he's played his last game for Richmond. If we don't play him as a medium forward or treat him as a small, he's too slow on the wing, particularly on the bigger grounds. He showed that again. It must be doing his fucking head in. You could see he needs to play in the forward line, else we have to trade him or delist him. We're not getting no value for him. So you just dropped that question that I was looking at. Can you pop that question back up, Michael? Sorry.
Oh shit! I gotta go back and find it.
So it was Caddy. It was Rioli. Rioli should be out.
I got it.
Okay, all right.
So who drops out for Lynch, Prestia, Asprey, and Nank?
All right. So for Lynch, basically what I would do is I would drop pick a small that's not performing. Say George, get him out. So George, CCJ would take George's spot. Lynch would take George's spot, type of thing. So it'd be Lynch, CCJ, and Jack in the forward line. Prestia, he comes in straight off the back. I'll just freaking find a spot for him. Asprey will only come in if it depends on the oppo we play. If there's two, we missed him last night. But if we don't come up a side that has two monsters, leave him out. And then Nank comes in. I would say goodbye to Rioli. I would say goodbye to Rioli's not done enough. I'm sorry, George. Goodbye to George. He hasn't done enough. Caddy's gone. And I would just get rid of those three and just plop Lynch, Prestia, Asprey. Lynch, Prestia, Nank as locks, and Asprey, depending on oppo.
All right, CB, what do you think of the surface at Optus for night games? It's an interesting question. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue the same up north, whatever. It gets greasy at night time, becomes like a wet weather game, doesn't it? Like we saw the game played in Northern Territory where it was like a wet weather game, and then it became a wet weather game, but the ball was sliding everywhere. I think the surface is fine. It's a winter sport. It is what it is. When you're playing winter, mate, you're playing all conditions. So unless the surface is that bad that players are really injuring themselves, I think play on's a call. If it's a bit greasy, so be it. That's what I think. Just play.
Fair enough. And the last question we'll send through for you, Tiggs. Will Matthew Parker get a game? And if so, when?
I don't know. Don't know when you would get a game, but I know one player that needs to get a game. It's Ben Miller. He needs to get a fucking game. Why he didn't play last night, I have no idea, but he needs to play. Even over Asprey. But yeah, Matthew Parker, no. I see him coming in. Hardwick's smart with this. He's more match fit, funny enough, than our other injured blokes, right? So I could see him bringing him in for a couple of slots. I wouldn't be surprised if he's picked next time we play. I think we're playing against the Suns or...
we've got St Kilda next up.
Yeah, we've got St Kilda next game. What are the odds?
Yeah, that'd be awesome,
I wouldn't be surprised if he puts him against the Saints, right? To give him, playing against your old side, get that out of the way.
He will go hard that game. He would go hard.
And then you'll see him for a month, because at the moment, even though it appears that we're under pressure, we're not. It's not danger zone. I believe if we don't make the top four, Hulk's gone, fuck it, we're going to make finals, just have fun. We'll do damage when we get into finals, regardless of where we sit. So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play against the Saints, but he'll get a block of games. So I'm sure he will leading up to finals to see if he's going to cement himself in the final 22 when we do the final run.
Yeah, that's a good call, the St Kilda game. I would love to see that. I'm not sure St Kilda players would love to see that because they'll know what's coming at them.
I'm going to do it early for Traralgon Tiger. Early prediction, I'm starting it off at 46 points. I've got 2 weeks to work it up. But we're going to smash it.
Gee, I thought you were
going to brutalise it.
We're going
to brain it, you're right. Yeah, brutalise it, trust me.
We'll touch on that quickly before we finish up because it's a big block of games coming up after the bye. And notoriously, we kind of start our run, don't we, at this stage of the year? And I think someone wrote before it's Big Boy Month. And it feels like even though we have lost to a lot of the top 4 and 6 teams, and that is true, we can't hide away from that, our draw does open up a bit, doesn't it, fellas? So St Kilda, Gold Coast, Collingwood, the first 3 games. Now, the one that worries me, Collingwood with the new coach factor, that always plays a bit of a part. But pound for pound, the way the 2 teams are playing, you'd like to think we'd get it done. Gold Coast can be anything, but we've got to get it kick-started against the Saints.
But in saying that, it shits me to tears when you get people saying, oh, we haven't beaten any top 8 sides. Hold the fuck a minute. We haven't played them with a full midfield. They got us when it was a perfect time to get Richmond, when we when they've been relatively healthy, and we've been smashed with injuries all in one area of the ground. So I'm so excited for the rematch. We're going to have 2, which is Brisbane and the Cats. But you're right, Michaels. I think we'll go in with a hungry streak to start slamming into sides. And, we're going to take a fair few scalps. So just pray to the footy gods we get no injuries. We don't need any more. We've had our run.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I know you just said, and you're right, that we haven't had a full array of midfielders when playing those teams, but how worried do we start to become about the bodies of Prestia and Cochrane holding up when we're trying to make a run for finals? Are we going to struggle to get the continuity in that particular area of the ground?
Well, Prestia was only he didn't do his hammy. I reckon if push come to shove, if we were going to a final, I would have been real curious to see if he would have played or not. But I think they just rolled the dice and said, look, got the bye coming up, get him right. They'll manage him. I have more concerns on Trent's body than I do Dion's at the moment. But I think we've got the best medical team in the league. I think we'll be okay.
And the thing is with Prestia too is I think they've identified, from what I do know, and I know this is a fact, he spent this weekend, the weekend leading up to the game, just doing endurance running, repeat, repeat, all that type of work because that's to prevent injury. Like if you had just played another game doing impact running and stuff, you could have easily pinged a hamstring without, you can, when you're doing a training, you can do the running loads like a game. And he's one of those players that plays to his optimum level regardless of how his skills, because he's not very skillful. He's just a get the ball forward type midfielder. That's why we love him. And he's good with his hands. That comes back pretty quickly. But like Octavio said, look, Ockie, you've got a question. GWS 3 hour away is tough. I actually don't think so. You know what's the blessing, people? Richmond's always notoriously been a shit travelling side. We always have been. Let's just be real. Not now. We've won more games away than we have at home. We've won more games being forced out. So even when we're in bad form at the MCG, we went away, we won, bang, bang. So I think we've gone over the travel bug. I think the players believe they're a travelling side. They love travelling. So, no, Freo and GWS won't have open hell.
It's the Brisbane and Geelong game, I reckon, CB. They're the big ones as well. I mean, they're all going to be big games, but after that first block of 3, Brisbane, I think, is going to beat the G, all things permitting. And then Geelong, they're probably our 2 next big games we have to get over.
You know what? 4-week blocks, don't even think that far ahead, mate. We've got 3 games coming up. Let's just clip them hard, and then we'll see how the pieces fall after that,
So what are our next 3 games? It'd be interesting to what people think on chat. I'll tell you who our 3 next games are.
We've already said it.
St Kilda, Gold Coast, and Collingwood.
I didn't know you were 100%, but all right. So I reckon we're going to go 3-0.
Yeah,
we have to. I don't think we have much choice. If we want a sneaky crack at top 4, we have to. If we want to make sure we can stay in the 8 at a minimum, we still have to, because the teams outside are breathing down our necks. So
do you really give a shit, mate?
Absolutely.
Like, if we finish 5th and get the final at the MCG, do you really care?
No, I think we can still cause damage from there, and I think the players believe that too. But it's just nice to have that cushion, I suppose. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Who are we tipping for this week against the bye? How do you think we'll go?
Well, the boy's got form, hasn't she? The boy has form.
No, it's the boys have a well-deserved break. Hopefully they all rest up. Hopefully they can all get back to Melbourne with their family and friends, and we can get out of some more restrictions, and we can get some crowds back at the G. We've obviously got our trade news show coming up on Thursday night, everyone, with Tiggs. So now a lot of people message me asking, "Oh, what's he said? What's he said?" He hasn't told me shit. So he's given me a brief rundown. He's keeping me, out of the loop, which is fine. So it's a surprise for all of us when we watch it. So make sure everyone's tuning in 8:30 on Thursday night. We'll take live questions as well. You can comment about his blue lips. You can call him Danny DeVito, whatever you want. We'll pop it all up there. And that should be a really interesting show.
I was so excited, Tiggs, you told me that we're going to get Daniel Jackson back.
Yeah, he's a lot.
I was so excited when you said that.
But you know what? I didn't say anything. Matty Richardson, mate. He's fucking coming in for 2 seasons on $1 million a year, and he's going to – no, but seriously, guys, I'm going to be telling you stuff that I know is 100% factual, right? So – that I've sorted through the bullshit, the smoke screens, and I go, okay, this thing has weight. They said, what? You just got to, if you're going to watch Thursday's show, if I mention a name of one of your favourite players that I don't think is going to be at the club, don't personally attack me.
No,
don't think it's I personally hate the person, or I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen. But I can promise you this: any name that I bring up will 100% break in the media. And if it's not this off-season, it'll be next season. But I'll leave you guys with something before we exit the show. If I was you, just go back to the last year. And I mentioned when we were getting close to the off-season, and I said to Michaels, we'll probably have a quiet off-season this year, but next year, be prepared we might lose a favourite son, but bring in fix a couple of needs and also go to the draft. And I think my prediction back then is going to come true this time, because everything that I've been told way down back then is sort of coming to pass now. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be one of those off seasons that might not look sexy, but will set us up for the next 8 years. That's pretty exciting.
And the thing, we'll say this again on Thursday, but just worth noting that unless he says otherwise, if a name's mentioned, it's interest that we're showing, not necessarily like Tiggs might name 5 players. That doesn't mean all 5 are coming to us. So don't get carried away when you hear names unless Tiggs states otherwise, like he did with Tom Lynch a couple of years before it happened. So if we get a nugget there, that'd be pretty handy. But looking forward to that one.
And just on trade news, seriously, this Bolton shit in the media, don't bite to it. Don't play into it. I did a bloodbath a month ago. It gave you the dates and the timelines of what Ralph Carr has said. This is 101 Ralph Carr school, right? So all of a sudden, Adrian Dodoro's in it. Well, who friggin' wouldn't be into Bolton? Like, come on. So don't buy into it. Don't respond to it. It's just bullshit. It is just playing out like they said back in March how it would play out. There's no impasse or anything. It is what it is.
Yeah. It's 2 years. Trust me, 2 years he'll sign for. He'll be on around about 500-ish, which people think, why is that so low? He will be, because he knows at the end of those 2 years, he'll be getting dusty-like contract offers from other clubs. And if we win another flag, I even still think in 24 months he might not go. But I don't know if he would or he won't. Anyone that tells you different is lying to you. But I do know that, and I'm far to say it's a lock, he's going to stay with us, and it's going to be for 2 years.
That's what we want to hear. Joanne, yes, the trade show will be live Thursday night this week at 8:30. So you'll be able to watch us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, whatever platform you choose. So we will be going live. So, but with that, was there anything else you wanted to add, Jens? I know we haven't got a game.
Yeah, just a pro tip. Yeah, pro tip. Tom Morris, Tom Brown, Johnny Ralph. Make sure you change your name in chat, because it's going to be embarrassing when you, when you log on.
I'm sure there'll be people watching this one for sure. CB, anything else from you, mate?
No, look, like I said earlier, everybody stay safe, be nice to each other, be kind to each other. There's a lot of Karens and wannabe Karens and all sorts of shit going on out there. Just be nice, be cool. Everybody, we will get through this. Just be nice to each other and love each other. That's all I'll say.
You know what? Like my little bit is like CB's bloodbath. Just enjoy it. Like our bar's lifted to not just being happy making finals, but are we going to win the big dance? Like it should be a fait accompli. We win the flag. Just sit back and get present to that. You know, and think of how you felt 5 years ago in 2015 or whatever it was, 2013, 14, 15. You know, we're fucking hoping we win one final or just make finals. Now look where it's sitting. So, yeah, how good is it?
That St Kilda loss, that brought back a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder from me. Like that loss was very Richmondy, wasn't it? That St Kilda loss.
It was. Yeah, but no, he's all right. We've all got to keep perspective and just enjoy the journey. As Bill just wrote, don't post angry. We're all in it for the same reason, because we love the Tigers, and that's what makes us a unique bunch of people. So that's why we'll keep doing the show for you. So until next time, everyone, enjoy a weekend without footy. We can all relax and watch other teams get shit on, hopefully. Hopefully we get a few results go our way, and we will reconvene on Monday for a weekly show. JC should be back for that one.
Love you, Chelsea. Love you, Chelsea.
Mick's got an important point that does not include be nice Essendon supporters. You just... You know,
no, slap them around.
All Carlton supporters, make sure you give it to them when they lose again. You know, we can smell what they're cooking. You know.
So Thursday night, make sure you're tuning in. Thursday night, let's try and get record numbers. Let's blow it out the park. Trade news. Tiggs has got good mail. Tag all your friends. Make sure you let everyone know to tune in. I'm going to create an event on Facebook. Let's pack the live feed. He's got the good oil, and it should be a bit of fun. We'll take some questions along the way. So stay safe, everyone, and we'll speak to you all on Thursday.
Go the mighty Dragon Roosters.
In the show, please participate, right? Because I've obviously literally got 20 minutes of content, right, with me talking. The rest of it, just answer me questions.
That is flat out bullshit. You can talk longer than 20 minutes, and we all know it. That's okay.
But I don't want to stretch it out. I really want. Okay. We're all about the supporters, aren't we? So the supporters,
get involved.
Just give it to us.
Involved. And CB, we will see your delicious-looking beard on Monday.
You're not going to be joining Thursday, CB.
Are you joining us? No, he's out. He's out.
CB. All right, guys.
Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe, and we'll speak to you all on Thursday.
Ciao. Bye.